Right, welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone non-binary. This is an episode about what inspires us.
What influences us?
Oh, influences.
And who influences
Influence
us?
and inspire. It can be two things at the same time. So neither of us are wrong here. Definitely not me. So I am a weird one, so I will go first. Is a lot of influence in my life has actually been through video games than it has been necessarily a living, breathing person. There is a lot of lessons that I've learned through playing games, stuff like the Metal Gear Solid lines, Dragon Age and all those kinds that have had like influence on moments and good character growth. And with Metal Gear it was quite an interesting tale because you had some people that you thought were actually villains when they weren't. In reality they had to play a bad part for the greater good in one regard.
The greater good.
I knew that was going to be said. It was also like you could follow orders to a certain level, but it's like, do you challenge the orders at the same time, or like, do you query like, is this actually the right path, or am I actually doing the right thing, and finding out should I still be part of this organisation? And some of them are actually quite valid points. It's not worth, because if you are following orders blindly, you don't know what the consequences are going to be. And that's another thing that I love. Consequences. Life doesn't always embrace you for consequences like video games do. Especially if you work with Chris in like a game and he like shoots you on the back of the head.
I only do that by accident.
Accident.
Yes.
Yes, accident.
Accident.
But yeah, so influence like that, and also anime. Anime, like with One Piece, had a lot.
Tell you know.
I mean, I'm sure Chris would agree with One Piece.
Yeah,
It's
One Piece is
massively influential.
Oh yeah, it doesn't influence me at all anymore, but it used to.
But the thing is, that's the thing, it used to at the same time.
When I was an impressionable teenager.
Yes, I think everyone was when they watched One Piece. But yeah, so mine, video games and that lot, like, I can keep talking on, but I think Chris needs to talk because he needs to give you lovely people context on what last episode was.
Yeah, so last episode I mentioned a podcast a couple of times, but I didn't say what it was. But for context, it was the Imp and Skiz podcast. So two YouTubers / streamers, Impulse SV and Skizzleman, ever since, I've got to get my timing right, so ever since 2022, they've been running a podcast, the Imp and Skiz podcast. And they have been talking about loads of things that have motivated them, loads of things that have affected their lives, what they've gone through, what they've experienced with their friends. And because they're basically, they're two men, they're in their 40s, they've done so much work, you know, they've been friends for a really long time. Like, they've known each other through high school, I've got to put it in American terms, college, they've worked together, now they're in content creation together. When this comes out, Skiz is taking a sabbatical from work to do full-time content creation.
Oh, fair.
Like, he's just hitting that bit, whereas Impulse has been doing it for about a year or so.
Right. Starting off small and then...
Yeah, like, they were, like, Impulse started his YouTube channel 10 years ago. And probably 11 now, because he said 10 years in his episode from last year.
Wow.
But I've been listening to this podcast since, like, I've watched an episode here and there when he had, like, guests on. Because he's had the other Hermits from Hermitcraft on. And I'm like, oh, I want to watch the Scar one, I've watched the Ren Dog one, and I watched the Mumbo Jumbo. I've watched, like, probably 6 or 7 episodes. They're at episode 86 now. Maybe episode 87. So I'm like, I should really start from episode 1. And at time of recording, I'm at episode 30. Bearing in mind it's only been, 16 days? I'm doing about 2-3 episodes a day on average. Which is, you know, it's quite a lot. They're a good 50 to 70 minutes each. But what they've talked about is just like, oh my god, yeah, that's what I'm going through right now, or that's what I need to do. Like, it's really influenced me. And I've been watching a lot more of Impulse lately anyway. I really like the way he does his content. Like his video format's really fun. His streams are a lot of fun. Like, I played a lot more Phasmophobia because I watched Impulse play Phasmophobia with Skizzleman, Good Time with Scar, Grian, Gemini Tay, B000100. I'm just naming it.
Oh, I was going to say, he's naming them all off.
Tango of the Tech Variety. Yeah, like, I've watched a few, I watch a lot of Impulse, but this podcast has just been my main influence.
As the episode titled.
Yes, what influences me?
Yeah.
Another person that's influenced me is one of my good friends. She's not here right now. I'm going to not say her name for privacy. But we've been gymming together in the mornings. We spend a lot of time together anyway. And we just sort of bounce off each other's energies.
Oh, okay.
And she's really influenced how I'm developing as I'm heading to my 30s.
For me, I'm loving it because once I get to the Middle Ages, it's immediately I can say I'm a natural Viking in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, you got 20 years before that though.
The thing is, I hit my prime when I'm probably 30.
I'm going to hit my prime in about minus 10 years. I've passed my prime.
See, I've
got a new prime to get.
See, my prime is pretty much I'm getting more chaotic, more funnier. I mean, naturally, it's actually true. That's the funny thing as well. Chris can't argue the fact.
I can't.
It's now that I'm not caring as much of what I say and because I don't say anything that is risque.
Risque.
It's more that I will say something and I know, and because I say it in a way that I don't mean any ill will about it.
Yeah, you got quite a friendly tone when you say things.
Yeah, I can sound like a complete
dumbass.
Yeah, I was going to try and think of a different word, but I was going to think of keeping it level. Yeah, I can say something and I don't mean it in the same regard. It's more of a compliment. I can call all of my friends idiots, but I'm all truly proud of them.
Yes, so
we're his idiots.
Yes, I would be like the...
I'll gladly say I'm one of your idiots.
Yeah, I'm one of these mercenary leaders. It's all of my guys are idiots.
Yeah, I sort of all my friends are slowly becoming my kids. You're a chaotic brother.
Yeah, I can't be classed as a kid.
No,
because we keep each other grounded.
But also you're older than me, so it wouldn't work.
Yes, I'm senpai.
No, you are not senpai.
I'm senpai. I am. He admitted I'm older, and we all know that senpai means older.
You're 4 days older. I'm not counting it.
He still said I'm older. I count it. Viewers.
If I was born on time, you'd be Kohai.
Viewers, you know the score.
But yeah, no.
But yeah, so basically we call our regards in that. I mean, also the fact is with influence as well is so in my job I did change managers just because we've had team movements and stuff. I would say my new manager or my higher, actually not going to say the title, motivated me because he massively took an interest, and I think I was one of the first cases that came up with the fact of, so my feet's just gone wiggly woggly. So going back, my manager has supported me and we found a department that I would excel at, and it's true. He took the time to know each one of the team, what our strengths and weaknesses are, and if you weren't going in the direction, he would try and be why are you not, or are you feeling stressed, are you feeling this? So he had an interest in the team and he wants what's better for you. He wouldn't leave you high and dry or to fail. He would actually try and help. So we booked myself into a meeting. We're talking some specialists to find out what I could be helpful. Talk to some of the training team that had resources. So yeah, that was one of the motivation or influences on my thing, was seeing how a proper leader is in a regard, how they lead a team is they look in your best interest and how they can improve you, and even though you're not in the same team, they might still put you in a department that might seem still better.
Yeah, I suppose one of the more obvious influences on your life, Viking.
Yeah, yes. So I'm very much down into what you would call the modern Viking. As much as I would love to be the old style Vikings, can't do the raiding and all that kind of business.
Can't do the pillaging.
Can't do all of the old style, which has a different meaning. That if I wanted to talk about the whole Viking side,
that would be a mini-sode series.
Yeah, that would go down a different line. But yes, with
you've got content to talk about.
Yes, I do have content. There is content. But with the modern Viking it's not you. Anyone can be the Viking, and even in Viking or the Norse thing, they have invited outsiders as part of their groups. They've always embraced culture at the same time. So if there is something they learn, they better themselves. And with being modern Vikings, you don't have to have Norse blood in you. This is the thing, is a load of people think, oh, you got to have Norse or this kind of blood in you. And let's be real, probably everyone in the UK probably has some line
Norse or Celtic
in you. But the main line is modern Vikings look to improve themselves, be confident in what they're doing, and take care of yourself. People will argue with that, and people get really silly when people call themselves Viking. But truly, if you are going to go down the Viking line, you are improving yourself, you're looking on yourself, and you're also going to be like helping others at the same time.
Yeah.
You were a clan. You weren't like a solo person that would just go over rioting. You would help them, develop them, look after yourself as well. So like with comes to beards and stuff, they would make sure they were groomed. They were actually, some with like hair and that, they were mostly really up their grooming. So if you're going to have like a long beard, you go for the long beard, but you keep it to a level.
Yeah, you keep it tidy, you keep it neat, you don't let food fester.
Yeah. And also it's like some of the traditions of the Viking things, they were friendly people despite the pillaging, the raiding, but that wasn't everyone. Some of them were shipbuilders, some of them were great navigators, some of them actually made hostile lands tameable. And some of the festivals and events that goes on...
Vikings, pirates with hobbies.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, Norse mythology...
That's really downgrading them.
Norse mythology and Viking history has always been a big part of my life. And when I was a child, and then when I got older, it slightly went because I had to concentrate on like studies and other stuff. And then it eventually came back again, so I never really lost it. And most of my life I would base around it now. I mean, pretty much I've got armour, I've got axes, I've got real axes, I've got real stuff.
You love building in a Viking style as well in Minecraft.
Yes. If there's anywhere like building something in like the long houses, long boats. And also the fact, like, with the mythology side where you've got, like, the dwarf, the other races, the giants, the things, it was all quite interesting.
I was, like, my main influence as a young lad, not pandas, was, like, my family around me. Like, the people I had around me. So, the person, like, my mannerisms, my, like, the panda-esque feel I give off... is because of the influence I've had around me. And as I grow up, like, it has slowly shifted.
Yeah.
Like, I've still got the same polite mannerisms.
Yeah, he's a true gent, to be honest.
Yeah. But that comes from my upbringing. That is my nurture.
Yeah, you do get brought up by your folks who were in certain professions. And I can't imagine you necessarily getting
exactly.
talking.
But I also took influence from my older siblings. I saw what they did, saw the repercussions or the consequence, and I decided, do I want to have that as a coming towards me, or do I want something different?
Yeah, embrace change and all that.
Yeah. So if they did something which was classed as stupid by my parents and they got, like, told off for it.
Grounded and all that.
Grounded, yeah. I wouldn't do that. I'd go a slightly different route. Like, okay, they did X, Y, Z, and that's not good. So I'm going to do Z, Y, X. I'm going to do maybe the same thing, but in a different way.
Yeah, slightly tailor it more to be like, this is where you went right, but then this is where you went wrong. I'm not going to follow the wrong direction. I'd probably do it the right way. Yeah,
I'm going to go slightly in your direction, but I'm going to alter it so I end up in a different end destination.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't really want to expose too much about my childhood growing up.
No, that's fair enough. but he's not like a panda also where he doesn't fall over as much and roll down hills like a panda does.
No, but I've always joked that as the panda is the name I've gotten as a scout leader, but then I've sort of like fallen in love with them because they're fluffy, they're chubby, yeah, let's be real. They're clumsy. I'm not the most clumsy, but there are definitely days where I am just...
He's a wrecking ball.
Yeah. And they eat food that isn't exactly what they're supposed to be eating. Because, fun fact, pandas are carnivores. They're not supposed to eat bamboo.
They just eat it because they're
lazy. And honestly, I can relate to... I used to eat too many takeaways because it was just... I was too lazy to... go get the right thing.
So he needs to eat bamboo, is what you're saying?
I've eaten bamboo shoots.
No, it's not bad, is it?
It's not bad.
No, it's really not bad.
I can see why the pandas do it. It's not bad, but...
But no, that is stuff that influence.
I have influenced, the panda teddy bear lifestyle. I am... the aesthetic I give off is definitely the teddy bear vibe. I am not... a fight goes on outside... You don't see me joining the scrap. I am the one who's just oh, does anyone need a hug? Does anyone need just let off steam and vent? And just who needs a teddy bear?
I think. Well, yeah. I mean, when you're going on pretty much with panda, I feel like most of my usernames have had or things have got cats or Vikings anyway.
Yeah.
So most people, I don't mind being referred to as cats or cat. Cats is what most people call me.
Yeah.
And I've actually use LARP characters called cats because it's ironic at the same time, and I'll have cats mercenaries. Now I guess in my behaviour, mine would be I can be chaotic, I can be hyper, quite fun to play with, but also I'm there for comfort.
Poke too much and you will scratch the shit out of them.
Oh yeah, you push me to a limit, and I'm actually quite brutal in the fact
you can be quite chatty.
I can be very chatty. I can be quite silent also.
And boy, do you jump if you get the right scare.
Oh, yeah, no. If this is really catches you off guard.
You're ouch!
Literally, that has happened, when it came to, a T-Rex.
The T-Rex scream on stream.
Yeah, or there was, knocking on the thing, and I had to get up and actually, find out if someone was actually after me.
Things confuse you. So, we probably are just a panda and a cat.
Yeah, and literally also the comfort thing. I could be comforting at the same time. Or I'll bust your balls. It's one of those two.
Yeah, so we do embody the two animal names we go after.
Yes, pretty much. It's quite a funny thing, and in theory that does influence. I mean, when you think about some clans and tribes, and not just Vikings, but in all different sides, when they were named after animals, you used to be, because a lot of them would follow a certain character. Characteristic, or that word that I can't say at the moment.
Aesthetic and characteristic.
Yeah. So it was if some people were near the water, they the water tribes, or they would be something sea related if they were great for travelling. If they were more inland or higher up, they might name themselves hawk, eagles, and all that kind of stuff.
Seagull.
Oh, I mean, they're big scavengers,
Steven. Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Oh, God.
But all sorts of things influence you, and it's always fun finding what the next influence is going to be. So my hyperfixation for the next, until I catch up, is going to be the Imp and Skiz podcast, bringing it back to that. As I said, Impulse has been a big part of my influence for the past year or two. The Imp and Skiz podcast is probably going to be the key thing. But there is never any harm in seeing something new that influences you and you using it, providing it does you good and does right by you. It's a good influence to follow. So I'm going to put a challenge to the viewers. If you've made it this far,
we still see you.
Put in the comments below what influences you.
Let us know. Keep us updated. And also, if you've got a progress thing and you are listening, do feel free to comment basically how you've been doing. We love to hear what people
comments are great.
Yeah. And throughout when I've helped people and I've seen them years ago, later or something like that, I've usually been thanked for something, or they've updated me on what their progression is like. It's quite good.
Yeah. I've got one last influence.
Yep.
And I'm honestly surprised I haven't mentioned her.
Oh, yes.
My singing teacher.
Yes. Chris, a singing teacher, that's done very well.
Oh, she's done amazingly well. But before she started doing amazingly well on TikTok, and you've heard me gush about her before.
You've seen previous
Season 2, Episode 6 of Barchats is me trying not to gush over her for 2.5 hours and failing.
Yeah, and that one could have been a lot longer.
But
I have to keep them on a deadline.
We know. But the way she's influenced me there is way before this. It's when I first started taking lessons.
The early days.
The early days. I was so nervous about like singing in front of people. Like I would sing in public, but I have to be in like the background and in a crowd. And she has slowly brought out the confidence in me where not only am I singing a wider variety of songs and songs I never would have even attempted, because I'm like, Jesus, listen how high that is. I'm like, I can hit that note. I want to try this. Like, yeah, I need warm-ups and stuff, but she's influenced me in a way that I can pursue that now. And, yeah, musically I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for her influence. Like, yeah, there's songs out there, songs that get in my head that make me want to sing them. But if it wasn't for her initially taking the time to figure out what I like to sing, how I like to sing, and making sure I'm singing properly, and giving me the right vocal warm-ups and everything, I wouldn't be doing it. She's the biggest influence on the music side of my hobby.
Which is a good thing to have.
And just for the sake of it, I'm going to mention her all in the description below so you can find her links and everything, because she just deserves that.
Yeah, anything we can link down, we usually always try and do.
I'm going to link the Imp and Skiz stuff as well, because, they're just great.
Now, folks, it's been a pleasure for you listening to what we've been talking about today. We could talk for days about this, but the thing is, if we do, it will be another episode, because we don't want to keep it massively long.
Yep, and this one is probably a bit longer than we realise.
Yes.
Because there's no timer on this camera.
So the one thing is, in the best of our hearts, hopefully you find influence somewhere.
Yeah, and we will see you in May.
Yeah. See you next time, folks.
Bye.
Just a couple of guys chatting over a brew. Won't tell you no lies, it's